Ukrainian forces have breached Russia's first line of defense, near Zaporizhzhia after weeks of mine clearance, and are expected to make more progress as they attack the weaker second line of defense, General Oleksandr Tarnavskiy said. The commander of Ukraine's southern counterattack told The Observer. According to Mr. Tarnavskiy, it is estimated that Russia spent 60% of its time and resources building the first line of defense, but only 20% of its effort on the second and third lines of defense, because Moscow did not think that Ukrainian forces can get past the first line of defense. We are now between the first and second lines of defense, he said. President Volodymyr Zelensky also said Ukrainian forces were continuing to move, while the U.S. acknowledged notable progress in the counteroffensive over the past few days. Despite everything and no matter what anyone says, we are moving forward, and that is the most important thing, Mr. Zelensky wrote on Telegram. Meanwhile, the British Ministry of Defence said on September 2 that Russia was at risk of having to split its forces as it sought to prevent a Ukrainian breakthrough in southern Ukraine. London said Ukrainian forces continued to carry out offensive operations. Russia blocked Ukraine's advance in Bakhmut. The Russian Ministry of Defence told TASS that the country's army, while performing a defensive mission, stopped the advance of enemy reconnaissance groups on the outskirts of Bakhmut. Airborne units continue to confidently defend and prevent groups of Ukrainian troops from invading settlements neighboring Bakhmut. Every day, reconnaissance forces advance in small groups to the outskirts of the city to monitor the enemy at close range. Paratrooper units use both optical reconnaissance devices and drones. When units of the Ukrainian armed forces move, their coordinates are transmitted to the Russian artillery operating station. Russian combat group raided Ukraine's drone control center. Russia's Dnieper combat group attacked Ukraine's unmanned aerial vehicle (UAV) control center as well as weapons storage and armored fighting vehicles in the Kherson region. Group spokesman Roman Kadrian said fire broke out at the place where weapons, armored combat vehicles and drone control points of the Ukrainian armed forces are stored, Mr. Kadrian said. He also said a US-made M777 artillery gun was destroyed near the settlement of Inglets. In total, over the past day, combat units of the Dnieper Combat Group carried out more than 50 shelling attacks on Ukrainian positions. Mortar teams and D-30 artillery were eliminated in the area of the settlements of Goncharnaya, Burgunka, Verovka, and Otradokumenka, Mr. Kadrian added. On the Orikhiv axis in southern Ukraine, and units had advanced to Russia's first main line of defense,